video, we are going to learn about how to debug within PyCharm IDE. Okay, so we're going to learn how to run in debug mode step by step, how to set up breakpoints, how to step over each steps, and how to navigate into the console and debugger mode. And we are going to do all of this within the PyCharm IDE. All right, let's take a look. Okay, so now I'm within the PyCharm IDE and I have a sample code to demonstrate the debugging ability. So when you run the code in the PyCharm, you can use this run button, this green arrow on the top, which is a very common method to run, right? Like example, I can click this and then it's printing this list from the for loop and it's waiting for the input, right? So this is the usual way of running the code within the PyCharm IDE. I'm going to stop here. I'm also going to show now how to run within the debug mode. First of all, why do we need to run in the debug mode? Many times when you do the coding, you make mistakes, or sometimes it could be confusing. You don't know what mistake you have done, right? So in order to understand your code, you can walk through manually, or you can introduce more print statements in between to understand how the program is moving along. Is the assumptions right or not? You can try it out using multiple print statements all over the code, right? That's one way to do it. Another simplest way to do is to leverage the debugging ability given within the editor. This is one of the reasons really people want to start using this IDE or the editor instead of writing it on a simple notes or notepad, right? So let's see how to run a code in debug. First thing is you need to know there is this bug like logo or a symbol, and you have to click this if you want to run in the debug mode, right? So when you do this right now, you launch two things. You launch a console where the output is going to be determined, and then you're going to see a debugger window where the values of the variables can be seen. So in this case, it's waiting for my input. I'm going to say Steve. So as you can see, the program is moving along, but I don't have any control over the program. The reason I don't have any control of the program is I have not set up any breakpoints. If you're running in the debug mode, first thing you need to know is you need to know how to set up the breakpoint. And that's the only way you can control the line by line or step by step. Okay, let's do it again. I'm going to stop this. In this example, I'm going to click on the left side like here. Okay, right now this red bubble that you see, this is called a breakpoint. So what you're telling the Python editor, when you run the code, run from the beginning all the way until this red line and then stop there and wait for me to take over the control, and then I can navigate step by step. Okay, let's run it now. As you can see, as soon as I click that, the program is running in debug mode. You can see these two windows, debugger window and console window. In the console window, already it has printed this line, how to debug example code. And after that, it's not proceeding further, it's waiting. Okay, so now in the top, you see this icon. Each icon has a specific meaning and usage. So the very commonly used one is a step over. Okay, so the step over says run this particular line of code. only just that one line of code. So when I click that, you can see the blue line is moving forward. That means it's completed running this line. Now we move to the next line and waiting for the user to provide the instruction. So what that means is the names list is created. If you go to the debugger window, you can see this variable names. It's a list with the 3 values. You can expand. You can also see what type of data type, length, all the information about the variable you have so far will be shown in this debugger. I can switch between this debugger and console any number of times. So now I'm just going to give the input is given, right? So I'm just going to step over. So it went inside the for loop and it's going to print now. You can see print and then it goes back. So it's waiting for each line by line. Scat, mat, right? Now the for loop is done. It's printing and we are done. Okay, so in the next example, let's do it. Okay, so I'm going to click this. It's waiting for the input because it's the question mark. So I'm going to say Steve. But after I print the Steve, it's waiting for the first line in the for loop. I say yes. So now I want, before it prints, if I want to know what's the value of I can simply go to this debugger. I can look at what is the current value of I. You see, I equal to S. That's what it is. When you click, you can see that value of I keeps changing and you can clearly see what the value is. So usually when you write a code, when you make mistakes because you make certain assumptions, that assumptions may not be true or conditions may not be met, and you might be wondering why. Now when it run in the debug mode, you can look at these variables and then you can assess what went wrong in your assumptions and you can fix the code. Okay. You can also set up multiple debug points in the code. It doesn't have to be only one, and you can let it run. Okay, whenever you want to rerun, you can also stop and you can also do the rerun. Okay, in the sense, let's say you start on the debug mode, you understood what the problem is. Now you want to fix the code. So you just do the stop and you can fix the code wherever is needed, and you can move the debug points as well. Let's say you understood what is going on here. So you want to remove this debug point and you want to set up the debug point all the way until here because this is where you are not sure what went wrong. So you can move the debug point to here and you can run again. Okay, so it's waiting for the input here. Steve, and then let's see, it's going to loop through the number. I'm going to give 7, printed the for loop. Now it's waiting at the input here again. So here I'm going to give 10. Okay, so now it's came inside the breakpoint. Okay, there's a correction. I think this for loop is meant to print until 5, not 10. Right? Okay, so you can see the for loop I and the range they've given here. So interesting thing is here, let's see what happens. So I is assigned a range from 0 to n10. So it's printing. Now you can see when the if condition satisfies, you can try to find out now. So it's going to keep printing because I is less than 5. Let's say when it is 5 still, so it's come. Now, okay, now the I is going to be 6. When the I is 6, it should go inside the if loop, right? So because the condition is met. Yes, the condition is met. Now it came inside. Now it's going to run the break. Break statements means come out of the for loop, and it prints the program, right? So that's how you use the debug points. You can set up multiple debug points as needed. It doesn't have to be one. You can set up as many as needed, or like you can simply remove and move along the debug points. The step into is usually used when you define the functions. Not in this specific example. Mostly it's used in the functions. If you want to go much in detailed, you want to know what is happening within the function, then you can click the step into instead of step over. Step over means just complete the statement of the function. Okay, so that's a easy way to use. This debug mode is very powerful. It saves a lot of time. You don't need to use the print statement all over to understand what is going on in the code. Leverage the debug mode, and and improve your programming skills. Keep watching for more videos. Thank you.